assuming the presidency of William Rainey Harper College. Now, some of you in the audience today, and I look to my faculty colleagues or to Professor Dowd, some of you might ask, what does a college president do anyway? You know, that's a good question, and we look to a contemporary of William Rainey Harper to find what I think is a timeless answer. Henry Merritt Riston served as 11th president of Brown University, and he was asked this very question in the early 1900s. And this is what he said, quote, "The president is expected to be an educator, to have sometime been a scholar," thank you, Jerry Sue, for mentioning that, to have judgment about finance, to know something about construction, maintenance, and labor policy, to speak virtually continuously in words that charm and never offend, to take bold positions with which no one would disagree, to consult everyone and follow all proffered advice, and of course, to do everything with great speed through committees. In other words, go where angels fear to tread. I shall never forget the night the board named me as the fifth president of our college. A college that dared to name themselves for the scholar whose vision helped create this great and grand American movement and institution, the American Community College. No greater honor could be bestowed upon me, and I am indeed both humbled and inspired by this opportunity. Harper College is a grand institution. Our resources, in my professional judgment and across my professional experience, are unmatched by most community colleges in this country and by many other public institutions in this country. Our depth of talent, equipment, plant, and financial resources are without equal. And with resources this great comes great responsibility. In order to put this responsibility into perspective for you today, there are a few things I would like to share with you. To understand this perspective, you must accept a fundamental construct that I bring to this position, and it is simply that the world has changed. The world's not gonna change. The world's not changing. The world has changed, and there's no going back to normal. The new normal is being defined right now in this moment, and we have to be a part of describing that narrative. Through the next several minutes, I would like to describe why this change has occurred and what we must do to respond. I want to talk about some of the factors that were in force in the 20th century economy that created widespread prosperity for our nation, certainly for my middle-class family. I want you to think about the changes that have occurred in this new century that put that widely shared prosperity at great risk. And I want you to think with me about the role of the 21st century community college and how through that role we can mitigate that risk to our community, our state, and our nation, and help define the new normal for our nation. And finally, how William Rainey Harper College is uniquely positioned to become a model 21st century community college. The 20th century did bring great prosperity to our nation. And it was due in large part, in my judgment, to the absolute alignment between the economic and workforce needs of that day and the educational attainment of that era. You know, in the 20th century, much like today actually, about 20% of the professional white-collar jobs that were available to our workforce required some form of post-secondary education. Those educational credentials supported the professional white-collar jobs of that century. The balance of other jobs, though, 40 to 60% of the other jobs in this country could be obtained with two characteristics met: a high school diploma and a willingness to invoke the good old American work ethic. With those two characteristics, the rest of us could live the American dream. My brother has shared our family story with you. That story is not possible in the 21st century economy. Jobs like my dad's created and sustained the great American middle class of the 20th century. But that world is gone, it has changed, and we will not ever return to that normal. Today, think about all the middle class jobs our country has lost. In the manufacturing area, think automobile factories, steel factories, food processing plants, glass foundries. Think about all the jobs in the financial services arena that we've lost. The fact is, every employment sector in our country has lost jobs but two: education and healthcare. And those 20th century jobs are being replaced with new middle skills jobs. Jobs in fields such as medical information technology, forensics, mechatronics, and the green industries such as renewable energy, green construction, and conservation. These jobs have one unique common characteristic with the old jobs. You got to show up. You got to still have that American work ethic: attendance, persistence, quality, rigor. But the jobs beyond that fundamental characteristic that are middle skills jobs are vastly unlike the old ones. Why? Because all those new jobs require the ability to learn beyond high school and leave high school with post-secondary learning skills. Unlike the old jobs, these new jobs require skills and knowledge that can be certified with some post-secondary credential. And don't think baccalaureates, with all due respect to my university colleagues in the room. Think certification, think industry certification, think certificates, think associate degrees. And unlike all those old jobs, every new job that's created will change, and everyone will participate to be successful with these family-sustaining jobs in a lifetime of continuous education and credentialing. Jobs and careers that have these features will be the new family-sustaining jobs of the 21st century, and those are the middle-class jobs of today. There is absolutely no escaping that currently we have a very high rate of unemployment. And we, the college, will continue to reach out to those in need during this recession. But while we meet the challenges of today, we must also look ahead and begin to prepare for the economic recovery. You know, in preparing for my remarks today, we looked at a lot of data. In Illinois alone, it is predicted that we will create over 1 million of these new middle skills jobs by 2016. And folks, we are simply not prepared to deliver enough of our citizens to fill those jobs. Failing to meet this challenge successfully will put our community, our state, and our nation at great risk. The expectations that must be met today